What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Check out this classic. This is the one that started it all. This is the bike that started a lifelong obsession of motorcycling for me, and I think a large part of that was we had nothing but fun on this thing. The best Christmas I ever had as a kid was 1973. My older brother Ray, who was here yesterday, you might have seen him in the video, him and I shared one of these when we were little kids, and we would literally, my dad would literally, let's shut it off so you can hear me a little better. My dad would fill it full of gas in the morning. We lived on a dead-end street with a big dirt road that did a big loop, and we'd ride this thing all day long until it ran out of gas because it never broke. It was absolutely bulletproof. So it started, I equated motorcycling with lots of fun, and my dad and my brother and I, we rode the wheels off of this thing for many years. In fact, I'd like to think that we are, if you have a Yamaha GT80, or an MX-80 and you want to find a home for it, we are the home for wayward Yamaha GT80s because we will invest way more time and money and effort, labor of love into resurrecting these than it's probably worth. But it goes back to the obsession of preserving the memories, the history. And every time I get on one of these and ride around, I have a little flashback to my childhood and how much fun we had on these. This is a really extremely rare enduro version. Rare in the fact that it survived all these years. It has only 352 miles on it. This came from a private collector down south. When I was down south this winter, we bought 36 motorcycles from him. You might remembered the big barn full of bikes that he had. He was a motorcycle dealer. He had a franchise dealership, and he kept a couple of unique bikes that he really liked that spoke to his inner child, and this was one of them. He was getting some other projects going, needed the money. We bought his whole collection, so we bought this in, and Jimmy Laurinaitis gave this the full going through. The good news is it's totally sorted out. It's got, I'll have to read the work order because a whole bunch, I won't remember everything they did to it.
Scrap it right now.
The bad news is it's a $2,700 work order. So, plus the shipping from Alabama, or where, what state was it? Yeah, it was Alabama.
Georgia?
I thought it was Alabama.
34 bike load?
Yeah, Georgia. Oh, right over the Alabama line, yeah. So it was right down by Christy's daughter's house in Alabama. But came out of Georgia. So the shipping in the work order are probably more than they should have been, but it is what it is. So let me go through it here with you. You can see the original paint is in outstanding condition. The technician, Jimmy's got a full page list of parts here, and I'll go over his notes of what he did to it. Jimmy, at the top of his list here, it's got a brand new battery in it. He put a new spark plug in it, cleaned and gapped the ignition points. He took the gas tank off and flushed out the old fuel and did the bicarbonate sodium blast method of cleaning the tank out. Installed a brand new fuel petcock assembly, new fuel line, and a gallon of VP ethanol-free fuel. The carb was completely dismantled, cleaned in the carb cleaning tank, and serviced with all the jets cleaned out. Installed a new float bowl, put a new air filter on there, brand new OEM Yamaha air filter, no aftermarket stuff there. Lubed the clutch actuator, lubed and adjusted the clutch cable, lubed and adjusted the throttle cable and the throttle housing. Lubed and adjusted the oil injection cable, adjusted the oil injection, bled it, and verified that the oil injection pump was operating perfectly. Topped off the oil reservoir with new Bel-Ray two-stroke. That's the thing with these things. All you gotta do is put straight gas in. You don't even have to mix the premix. It's got the auto lube injector, and it works great. You put a new gold drivetrain on there. Took the tire and rim assembly off, and tightened up the spokes and cleaned out the brake drum and installed a new tube and a brand new tire. You can see it still has the nubs on there. It's got maybe a mile going up and down the driveway on it. And these are the period correct original style tires that came on here. And same thing on the front wheel. Took the front wheel off, cleaned and serviced the brakes, adjusted the spokes, put a new tire and brand new front tube on there, and the rim strips front and rear. Greased the wheel bearings, the seals, and the axles, so the running gear's completely serviced and ready to go. Lubed and adjusted the front brake cable. Lubed all the pivot points on the bike. Gave it a full nut and bolt. Every nut and bolt on the bike was touched and adjusted and torqued to factory spec. Adjusted and serviced the brakes. The brakes work phenomenal. I was ripping down the highway, down the driveway in fourth gear here, and you know, they work great with my 220 pounds on it. So
it'll lock the rear end right up.
Yeah, you can lock the brakes right up on this thing if you like.
As well, but
the brakes were not only serviced but ridden and then adjusted. The transmission oil was drained and filled with Maxima transmission oil. Put a new drain plug washer and a brand new set of Ori grips on there. That's pretty much what he wrote down. I'm sure there's a few other things he had done to it. The detail shop steam clean the bike. Leo actually worked on this one for a full 10 hours. Jimmy had 15 hours. It had 25 hours of labor in it, so basically 3 full days on it. He steam cleaned it, hand washed it, degreased it, touched up the frame. As you can see, some of the black on the frame has been touched up. Repainted the cylinder head, cylinder jug black, removed the exhaust system and fully painted that with a flat black, high temp black paint. Cleaned up all the controls, polished all the bars, the levers, the forks, the wheels. All the chrome was polished, all the hardware was polished, all the nuts and bolts were polished, all the hardware. And then he buffed and polished the tins and coated it with a Carnauba paste wax. So this is the original paint on this bike on the tank. It's unrepainted, original, 50-year-old classic. So very, very rare to find them with a dent-free set of tins on there. Just pretty remarkable. Front fender is not all smashed up. The oil tank's intact. The rear fender, it hasn't been flipped over or beaten into submission like most of these were hammered by kids like my brother Ray and I. To find one like this, it's original with original seat and everything's in order on this bike. It's in remarkably good original condition. So even has the original emissions sticker on there.
Did we mention it has 352 miles?
Yeah, it's basically the inside of the motor is all original. We didn't have to do anything to that.
And it pulls super strong. There's no clutch slippage. The transmission's on point. It actually, without slipping the clutch or really pulling back on the bars, this thing will wheelie.
Oh yeah, it's a remarkably strong running bike, and that's because it's got no miles. It's essentially a brand new motorcycle. It's got 350 miles on it, which is nothing for. I guarantee you, ours had 10 times that on it the first year we had it because my brother and I rode it endlessly. Looks super clean and nice, original. The original 50-year-old upholstery on the seat, almost 50 years old, is in remarkably good condition. It's not torn or ripped. Even the Yamaha logo on the back is intact, and the original metal fenders are in great shape. Quick rundown the parts list here: new battery, new spark plug, new grips, new front tire, new rear tire, new front tube, new rear tube, new EK420 gold chain, Bellray 2-stroke oil, Maxima transmission oil, new fuel lines, new carb vent lines, new Yamaha petcock. It does have a new taillight lens and gasket on there. I thought that was original, but that's been replaced. Gallon of EP fuel and a new float bowl. So pretty much summarizes what was done. The grand total on the work order was $270 in parts and 25 hours labor at $90 an hour is $22.50. So out the door, $2,711 of love and attention has been invested into this classic bulletproof Yamaha Enduro. So if you're looking for one that's fully sorted out, look no further. Your ship's come in. It's got the original bars, original levers, original speedometer and ignition key are intact. The original Yamaha gas cap are intact. The headlight and the ears on the bucket are all there. This is one that hasn't been smashed, trashed, or thrashed. It's just been preserved in a private collection for the last 30 plus years. You can see the pegs in the shifter are not bent at all, nor are the rubbers worn or defaced in any way, shape, or form. The original chain protector is intact. The original shocks and forks are intact. No evidence of it ever being dropped, damaged, or abused on either side. The levers are nice and straight. You can see the pegs, the kicker, and the brake pedal are in excellent condition on this, and it has the original Yamaha Chrisman spark arrestor that hasn't been better with. A lot of times the kids would pull the baffles out because they thought they'd make it faster. In fact, it probably ran worse once you uncorked it. It has original stickers on the frame right here as proof the bike's never been repainted. It's original matching numbers, classic. If you have any questions about it, give us a call, 860-454-7024. You're going to be hard-pressed to find one that's been tuned to perfection with 300 miles on it like this one. They just don't exist. These are long gone and ridden into the ground by kids and big kids alike. So hope you enjoyed this flashback in time as much as I did. And I can tell you it was my best Christmas ever. Make somebody happy. Buy this as a present. Or if you've been good all year, buy it for yourself. 4-speed with a clutch. A lot of fun to ride, and it's a bulletproof 2-stroke. Thanks for watching. God bless America.